Kia ora and welcome to this episode of The Amateur Austenite. I'm Frances Duncan, author, Austenite, life coach. With me today is my lovely co-host, Rachel Pilwar, book buyer, Austenite, and all-round nerd.
Hello!
Today we're discussing chapter 19 of Emma by Jane Austen, which is the start of volume 2. But first we're going to talk about Christmas presents, because Rachel got some awesome Austen-themed Christmas presents. And yes, I'm aware that it's February when you're listening to this, but it's the start of January.
Yeah. Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah, my lovely coworker Marcus gave me some personalized Jane Austen coasters that he made himself. So he bought just plain coasters and then used, I don't know the word for the machine that does it, that lets you burn words into wood. But he made me some personalized Jane Austen coasters that say different quotes. We've got, "After abusing you so abominably to your face, I could have no scruple."
Lizzie from Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah. "Angry people are not always wise."
Jane Austen from Pride and Prejudice.
"In vain I have struggled, it will not do."
Darcy from Pride and Prejudice.
And then, "Here, hold my tea." Rachel Pilwar, in I think the first episode of our podcast. And on the back they say, "The Pilwar Panique," which I just love. He's probably going to listen to this. And so Marcus, thank you. It's the best Secret Santa present I've gotten. I'll treasure them forever. You say.
And if anyone else wants some wonderful coasters,
yeah, you should totally hit up Marcus. Hit us up and I'll bully Marcus into doing it.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the cup that you're using?
Oh, yes. I'm also using a mug that I bought myself as my own Christmas present to me. It's one of those heat-changing ones. So it starts off with women from Austen dressed in just day wear. And then when you put the hot water in, their clothes start removing themselves and the colour removes themselves. And they start going into like ball gown wear and evening wear. Quotes from Pride and Prejudice and Northanger Abbey. And Emma, the quote from Emma, "Few people seem to value simplicity of dress. Show and finery are everything."
Which is amusing because I'm pretty sure that's a Mrs. Elton quote and it's not something she believes.
That sounds about right.
Irony.
Yeah, but it's about clothes, which means it fits the mug.
So yeah, instead of revealing naked ladies, formal wear, day wear.
They've got their gloves on still, but I can see their elbows. It's crazy.
Elbows, how scandalous.
I know. Look, we can almost see the ankles as well. Honestly.
No.
It's such a promiscuous mug. It's so
But
true.
having said that, my ankles are exposed. Yours aren't.
Well, close. No. Oh, wait. It depends on the leg. I'll fix myself, show some modicum of decorum so that we can talk about this very serious topic.
So chapter 19 is the start of volume 2. What cliffhangers are there to tempt readers to the second volume? We just discovered that Frank Churchill is not turning up, Mr. Elton's buggered off, and Harriet's still devastated.
It's not so much that things end on cliffhangers, they just end unsatisfactorily. Well, you can't just end a book with, like, all these people not being there, Elton buggering off. It's just such an incomplete ending. Gotta come back for the next part. I don't know if there was anything that would have been said about the new volume to entice readers back when it came out. How they advertised. Or if people would have just been like, "Oh, I read that first one, I might as well get the next one as well," because there's a lot less choice back then than there is now.
Because I don't know if you had to buy all the volumes together, and the point of having the 3 separate ones is that you could read one while someone else read the next one, and then it was easier to swap books.
What? That's crazy to me.
So we start reading a book, you finish volume 1 in one night, then I take volume 1 and you start on volume 2.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So then when you finish volume 2, I can have it.
And then I can do volume 3. That makes sense. Okay, my brain, when you said that, went, I read volume 2, you read volume 1, and then we swap, and then I read volume 1. And my brain went, what? That's crazy. Your way makes a lot of sense.
There's a bit in Pride and Prejudice where Miss Bingley is reading the second volume of a book that Mr. Darcy's reading just so she can ask him questions. I'm like, that would be pretty funny to start a book in volume 2 and be like, oh, what is happening here? And the other person trying to explain it to you, even though they haven't read that bit yet.
Mansplaining.
So chapter 19, Emma and Harriet are walking and Harriet's moaning about Mr. Elton and Emma's like, shut the hell up. You know what's going to shut you up? We'll go and see the Bates, because Miss Bates talks so much, no one gets a word in edgewise, and that is fantastic. They do. Great. We're at a time where we're not going to hear about Jane Fairfax. Thank the gods for that. But unfortunately for her, there has been a letter from Jane Fairfax, and even worse, she's coming to visit. She's supposed to be going to Ireland to visit her newly married friend, Mrs. Dixon, but instead, for her health, she's coming to Highbury, which makes no sense because it's still winter and they have less money than the very fancy place she's supposed to be going in Ireland. So Emma's like, oh, I know what's happened. She's in love with Mr. Dixon. That's why she's not going. Dun dun.
I can see how Emma would deduce such a thing. But knowing the ending of this book, I can also see why she's coming to Highbury.
It's a sad picture of the Bates.
I was about to say, isn't every picture a sad picture of the Bates? In some ways. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Emma's aware that she should be contributing more to the stock of their scanty comforts. That is a direct quote. So that's like food and firewood and stuff like that. So obviously the community is supporting them because they don't have enough money to live on. And they're so excited to have visitors in their tiny one-room apartment that I bet they're just bored all the time. And I wonder if Mrs. Bates not being able to hear very well is because she tunes out her daughter because she chatters incessantly.
Selective hearing.
Emma's aware that she should go more, and the very few who presumed ever to see imperfection in her think so as well. I'm like, is there more than one? Is it just Mr. Knightley?
Oh, Mr. Knightley would go and visit. He's one of those nice people who would go.
But who else is saying that Emma isn't doing her duty well enough?
Mr. Knightley's the only one who would call Emma out on it.
Mrs. Weston would probably see it, but wouldn't necessarily say anything. Or maybe in a nice way.
Yeah, she would do it, but she wouldn't insist. Mrs. Weston would be like, oh, have you gone to see the Bates recently? Oh, not for a while. Oh, maybe you should pop by sometime. Whereas Mr. Knightley would be like, Emma, what are you up to?
You should see them every week.
Yeah, you're not doing your duty.
Take them some nice things.
Yeah, look at everything you have. Help them.
Emma thinks that they're a waste of time and tiresome and is worried about falling in with the second rate and third rate of Highbury because she's so fucking fancy.
When she says second rate and third rate, is she saying one of them is second rate and the other one is third rate? And I'm like, is Miss Bates the second or the third?
No, the sentence continues, who are calling on them forever. Mrs. Coles talked about in this chapter, she doesn't like the Coles because they're from trade and they've just been to visit. So she's like, thank God I wasn't here when Mrs. Cole was here.
So that she didn't have to associate with them.
Yeah.
God, stop being such a snob, Emma.
And like an inconsistent snob. Her best friend, her best friend
is Harriet.
And she's not only not smart, she has no rank. She don't even know who her parents are.
She's got nothing to recommend herself to you, Emma. God.
And your previous best friend was your governess. Actually, what does that say about Emma, that she can't make real friends? Ooh.
We talked about this before, that she must have such a lonely life. Guess where the M is on the spectrum.
Yeah, you reckon she's got ADHD because she can't stick to anything?
Yeah, and I think maybe there's just not enough neurodivergence around for her to be friends with, because I feel like the neurodivergents find each other and stick together. And maybe there's just... not enough of them in Highbury. That's her and her dad and her sister.
Her dad sounds autistic, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, and we're allowed to say these things because we're neurodiverse.
Yeah.
It's not stereotypes when it's accurate.
We see it in ourselves, and thus we can see it in others.
But the Bates cordially and even gratefully welcome Emma and Harriet. They're just so excited to have people there, and they're so nice to them. And they're like, we have cake. Do you want some cake? Please have some cake. Our other friend, Mrs. Cole, came, and she stayed for an hour, and she ate cake, and she said that she liked it. Miss Bates is kind of annoying, and you do skim read her paragraphs because they're very long. But she is actually just nice and probably lonely.
Living alone with her mother, who is going deaf, probably isn't not much for conversation. She'd like, what do they do in the evenings if they're home? You know, she just sits there in silence. Like, she would talk to herself, maybe.
I reckon that they probably have enough friends in Highbury that they could be out every evening. So, like, go to the Woodhouses one, go to the Coles another, maybe the Coxes another. What
if them being poor is actually just a scam and they're actually not poor, they're just pretending to be so they can go to other people's places and get free food?
And then people
and
send
get
them like
people to come and give them food.
all their apples and their pork.
And the word firewood, like, oh, we don't have the money. Can you bring us some firewood, please?
Well, they never ask.
They would never ask.
People just
it's
bring
true.
it, which is
But again,
great.
people thinking you're poor, they're going to be like, okay, we'll go and help them. I think it could be a number one scam. That's just what my brain was thinking.
Miss Bates talks about Mr. Elton because, of course, everybody loves Mr. Elton and the Coles love Mr. Elton. He's their friend. And Emma's like, oh, God, this is going to be awful. But they get through it. I love the way this is worded. She had not been prepared to have Jane Fairfax succeed Mr. Elton, but he was actually hurried off by Miss Bates. She jumped away from him at last abruptly to the Coles to usher in a letter from her niece. Miss Bates was quite happy to convey the entire conversation she has with Mrs. Cole about it, and Emma's politeness was at hand directly. Emma's like, yep, pull this out of the bag. That's so great. And the happily deceived aunt carries on. Paper was expensive, as was the mail. The recipient paid. Miss Fairfax was probably very economical with her letters, and she crosses them, which means that you turn the page and write over your words in another direction, so you're using less paper. Miss Bates has a whole conversation about how her mother's like, oh, that must be amazing for you to be able to do it. It's like, well, if it were you, you would figure it out because it's Jane, it's very important.
Yeah. That makes me think of my flatmate Michael, who, to economize on space, taking his engineering notes when he's had like tests and you can take one sheet of paper in, he'll write notes in red and then over the top of them write notes in green. He'll take like 3D glasses with him that you can put on, because then when you're looking at them and you go on the red ones, you can see all the notes not in red, and then when you look through the other one, you can see all the notes that are in red.
That's such an engineering hack.
Yeah, I was like, shit, I wish I'd known that was something you could do.
Genius.
It's so smart. And I'm like, you know what? This gives the same energy crossing your letters. It would be harder to read, but I also understand they wouldn't have had the capability to write in different colours and look at 3D glasses.
I'm pretty sure 3D glasses weren't invented at this point in time. I mean, coloured glass, yes.
Coloured glass, yes.
And they do mention Mrs. Bates' spectacles, which become important later on when Mr. Frank Churchill's fixing her of it.
Yeah.
As we go into Volume 2, everything has pivoted to be about Jane Fairfax suddenly, because the next couple of chapters are all about Jane Fairfax, and it just kind of comes from nowhere.
All these characters who we've gotten to know in the first volume suddenly not quite fall to the wayside, but we've been following like Harriet and Mr. Elton for the most part. And then
he's fucked off.
And
Harriet's kind of in the background here because Emma's like, I don't want to talk to you because you're just going to complain about Mr. Elton.
And so suddenly the new emerging people, like the new duo, is Jane Fairfax and, as we get through it, Frank Churchill. They then become the next two main characters for this part of the story. And it's actually really funny to kind of have Emma, like, she's the main protagonist, but she's not the main love interest kind of character. Like, she's not paired up specifically with anybody.
Well, not a lot happens to Emma in this book. A lot of stuff happens to other people. It's only because
Because of Emma's meddling.
Yes. Jane Fairfax is Miss Bates' niece and Mrs. Bates' granddaughter. We learn more about her in the next chapter. She writes to them by rule. They get a letter from her Tuesday or Wednesday because the mail service was so exact during that time. You would know when you would send something when the other person would receive it. Don't know that now.
A dream. Now you send something, you're like, it could be there within 3 to 10 business days.
Because now we have other ways of communicating. This was so important because it was the way.
They would have had a lot more drop-offs and things like that. There probably would have been so many letters being sent.
Yeah, people would do letter writing in the afternoon, and even Lady Bertram in Mansfield Park, who's not good at much, does her letters, and she's so good at writing letters. It's your entertainment.
Yeah, it's how you pass the time.
Jane is supposed to be going to Ireland to see her friends Mrs. Dixon and Mr. Dixon. And Mrs. Dixon asked Jane and her parents to come earlier because she was impatient to see them because she's never been away from them before, and now they're living in different countries, which is a big thing. Jane is Mrs. Dixon's best friend, but she decides to not go to Ireland because she's been a little bit sick, and therefore her home air, as I said, was supposed to be better for her, even though it's still winter, and her aunt and grandmother don't have a lot of money.
We read about people going to the sea for like the fresh air for health benefits and things like that, and it's like, I guess, do people go to the country for the same thing as well then, or
maybe it's not talked of, but maybe
no. I mean,
it's better than London.
Better than London, exactly. But I mean, because wait, where has Jane been staying?
She lives in London.
She's in London. Okay, yeah. So it's like, getting out of there would be good regardless. Surely Ireland has as much fresh air as but
it's suspicious, and Emma seems to be the only one that picks up on it. She's like, so in spite of all her friend's urgency, her own wish of seeing Ireland, Miss Fairfax prefers devoting the time to you and Mrs. Bates?
I love my family, but I would not choose to skip an international trip and seeing my best friend for them.
Miss Bates thinks that it's certainly a great deal better that she should come here than go to Ireland if she is unwell. Nobody could nurse her as we should do. Sure, you'll really care about her, which will probably just annoy the piss out of her, to be fair. But also, you don't have the money to properly care for her. Like, she even mentions later in the chapter about Mr. Perry and how Mr. Perry won't want to charge them, but also he has a business, and so we should really pay him.
What's their house like? Is it warm enough? Is it gonna, like...
Yeah, I worry
do
about
you
that
have a
too.
draft? Where is she gonna sleep? She needs to be comfortable if she's unwell and she needs to rest, because if you're gonna go in, like, a one-bedroom house...
Basically above a shop in the main street, and they have the drawing room apartment, which, from what my understanding of that is, there's the drawing room and then a bedroom behind it, and that's basically it. Kitchen and stuff downstairs, because that's what their maid uses. So it's small. Also, drawing rooms at that time are huge.
Yeah, much bigger. So
yeah. But Jane has got a bad cold that she's had since November. One of our members, David Norton, who is an English professor, or what do they call them? Professor Emeritus of English, has a theory that you can track the engagement or the status of Jane and Frank's relationship by Jane's illness.
Okay, explain more to me.
So it's like she's lovesick.
Oh, okay. So she gets sick in November and they got engaged and last parted ways, and she's sick up until she sees him again.
And then she gets really sick when they have a big fight and he goes away. Jane Fairfax is going to be coming visiting, and Emma's like, oh, cool. But hilariously, Miss Bates has told her the entirety of the letter being forced on her against her will, and she got the whole substance of the letter but managed to escape hearing the letter itself, because Miss Bates is telling her all of this as she's looking for the letter to read it to Emma.
So then she doesn't actually have to be read it because she's...
like, I got all the info.
She knows all of it, yeah.
Letters are entertainment. People's letters would be read. And they mentioned in Pride and Prejudice that Lydia's letters to Kitty were not read because there was too many underlines in the words.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't read that in public.
In terms of Jane being lovesick, if you were feeling heartbroken, when you want to go and hang out with your best friend to distract you instead of with your aunt who's gonna, like, just talk your ear off the whole time, what would you choose?
It was intentional because they're from the same place, so when she goes there, it's possible for them to see each other. If she goes to Ireland, they cannot see each other.
It's true.
But yeah, I would rather hang out with best friends.
Is maybe the reason Mrs. Dixon was so insistent on Jane coming to visit because she knows about... And she doesn't...
She doesn't know. Yeah, because I questioned that too, but I remember when we were reading with the book club further down, we discovered that Mrs. Dixon had no idea. The Campbells did not know. Nobody knew.
Call herself a best friend. I tell my best friend everything.
Yeah, but it was kind of dodgy to have a private engagement, so nobody knew.
And especially if your letters often get read out. Yeah.
And that's why Jane has to go to, I almost said the airport. That's why Jane has to go and get the letters herself to make sure that people don't see the letters that she's getting so she can keep them private.
So that way people don't know about her letters to Frank and Frank's letters to her.
Upcoming, more about Jane Fairfax.
Woo!
And that's our discussion of Chapter 19 of Emma by Jane Austen. I've been Frances Duncan. This has been Rachel Pillar.
Bye!
Thank you for listening. We wish you happy reading.
My women now have their day clothes back on my mug.
They're wearing jackets and bonnets.